that was his bread and butter, where he wanted to be. And you think about Giannis in this offense, like I feel like he has to work so hard just to get a bucket. And I think that's one of the things that like hurts him a lot, because he just has to do so much. He has to bring the ball up. A lot of his buckets, he starts posting up from the 3-point line and just backs his way all the way down, So it's like,
agreed.
You want to see him put in better positions where, he can be more efficient in a sense, and you want more shooters around him, so you just can't throw more bodies at him. Similar to how they set LeBron up. You need shooters around him, so to make things easier on him. So I just think once he gets a better team around him and a better offensive set, he'll be all right.
100%. And his name is the Greek Freak, and he scores and gets his buckets exactly like that. He's a freak. And when you look at like the LeBrons and the Kevin Durant's, the Steph Currys, you kind of know what you're going to get. There's certain spots on the floor you're going to see them. And Giannis, it's like you see him everywhere. You see him in the corner. You see him at the top of the key, low post, high post, free throw line. It's like, do you have any sets that you're running for this guy? Or is it you're just going to run him off of a screen, give him the ball, and just let him do what he has to do? And I think and that's the difference between, Prunty and Brad Stevens. And I hope Milwaukee can get a better coach and honestly better personnel, because I'm not sure, all the personnel on that team mesh that great together.
Yeah,
they definitely, they play some sort of defense, but they definitely need way more shooting, and they need someone that can create other than Giannis, because Bledsoe just was not cutting it.
No, Bledsoe is the type of guy who's constantly looking for his shot. He's not really a playmaker. He's not really a point guard. So, you need more playmakers out there that can create space for themselves, but also get others open and look for others in the same sense. So, they just need some better playmakers out there and some guys who can knock down shots.
For sure. And I just want to address one more thing on the first round. I was listening to Stephen A. and Max Kellerman today on ESPN, and they were talking about the MVP of the first round, and they're basically going between LeBron and Anthony Davis. So who do you think was the MVP of the first round?
That's tough, because both of them are very important to their teams, and if you take both of them off their team, that they're not making it to the second round, they're not making it to the playoffs. And based off the first round, I guess numbers wise, I guess you can give it to LeBron, because the numbers he put up was just incredible. But I think Anthony Davis had a great impact as well. I don't think you can go wrong either way, to be honest.
Correct. And I think it's somewhat equal, and I honestly would probably lean LeBron. And it's not about being, a LeBron stan or a LeBron fan or not trying to hate, but it's like, what else? What the hell was he supposed to do? Like, they won the series in 7. He averaged 34, 10, and 8. No other teammate scored 20 points in any game. Like, you had Drew Holiday, like Anthony Davis had Drew Holiday shutting down Dame, and he gave you 40. You had Rondo out here dishing 17 assists. Like, LeBron is literally dragging the team. Like, you ever watch one of those videos where like those bodybuilders tie the rope around their torso and they're dragging the truck?
Yeah,
that's LeBron. Like, that's literally LeBron. Like, someone that has to do everything for them to win.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it could go. You can't go wrong going either way. But both LeBron and Davis, man, they had a great first round. LeBron more so, he had a big first round. He led the Cavs in every statistic. So that says it all right there.
As usual, man. So moving on to the second round. Tell me which matchup intrigues you the most and why.
Oh, it's definitely the game tonight, which is Philly and Boston. I think they're
really.
I think they're equally matched. I think this is going to be a good series. To be honest, all the other series, I see Houston winning in 5 or 6. I see Golden State winning in 4 or 5. Houston might be able to sweep Utah, to be honest, and I see Cleveland winning in 6. So the only one I'm really focused on is Philly and Boston, because that one can go either way.
I'm so conflicted because, well, first of all, Jaylen Brown is not playing tonight, so that's another star down for Boston.
I didn't know that. That's huge right there.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown is out tonight. I forget the injury. Don't think it's super long term. He should definitely be back sometime this series, probably game 2 if I were to guess. But I feel like Boston's lack of stars, or maybe like lack of guys who specialize in certain things, could kind of lead to their detriment. I don't know how long the series is gonna go, and maybe I am a little bit a prisoner of the moment because Philly has looked so good. They have everything on that team. They got the point guard, they got the big man, they have a load of shooters, they got perimeter defenders, they got, low post defenders. I don't know what they're missing, and they looked so good last 14 games of the regular season and in the first round that I'm like, I know Boston's well coached and they tend to step up to the plate, but I don't know, man. Like, I see Philly, I can see Philly ending this thing in 6. I wouldn't be surprised if they ended it in 5.
I think it's going 6 or 7 to me. I don't see it ending any sooner than that. I see 6 or 7. And I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with Philly, but I don't know. I think this is the only series that I see going either way.
That is interesting. I'm definitely looking forward to watching it tonight. I want to see the matchups. I want to see if Philly plays the same or if they switch it up depending, based on their new opponent. You know what you're going to get from Brad Stevens on offense and defense. It'll be interesting to see how they defend Joel Embiid. Al Horford is going to have to play like a man beast.
Oh yeah, I mean he's going to have to do everything pretty much. He's going to have to be that key guy for them and be that veteran guy that they need. So, I mean, which he was in the first series. So I don't see this series being any different.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. I'll definitely be watching it. It's likely the most intriguing, maybe 1A and 1B between the East series. I think Cleveland, Toronto. I also have Cleveland winning in 6, but Toronto is very good and their bench goes deep. So I'll be interested to see how they respond to Cleveland. If Cleveland can steal one in their building, how they respond. And I think those are like the most equally matched series. When we talk about going out west, I mean, I can see both of those series being done in 5. Like Utah, they had a great showing versus OKC. They played defense. They put up the numbers. Donovan Mitchell, boy, he's so good and he was special. But Houston and Golden State they're just different.
Different animals, man. And I don't think Utah can really keep up with the scoring power of Houston. I think that's where they're gonna falter at, man. It's just that scoring power from Houston. They can just light you up in seconds, and Utah doesn't have the 3-point shooting to match that, in my opinion.
They definitely don't. I mean, Gobert, now he has to go up against Clint Capella. So it's like you have an equally athletic big you're going up against, and Jay Crowder, those 3-pointers are nice that he's hitting now. Wonder why he couldn't do that on Cleveland. But, in the end, I just think Houston is just going to be too much. Golden State is just going to be too much. And Steph Curry's coming back game 2.
Yep.
My goodness.
And they waxed them in game 1. Like, it wasn't even... I saw so much talk about how Golden State was going to struggle against New Orleans, man. And I've been like, it's been grinding my teeth. I'm like, everybody's getting so hyped because they swept Portland, but there's a big difference between playing Portland and playing Golden State. Golden State doesn't rely on 2 players for their offense. So I mean, it's a different game, man. And plus, I feel like New Orleans likes to play up tempo, which is playing right into the hands of Golden State because they love to get up and down. I mean, Draymond said it after the game. I think he said in the press conference how Klay Thompson came up to him and was like, man, I'm more tired in this game than I was in the whole series against San Antonio. So, I mean, that just tells you, like, the speed of the game. But they love playing at that tempo, man. They get more shots up, more threes, and you can't last with those guys.
100% agree. And my thing was, I get it, they swept Portland, which obviously I didn't expect, but going up against Golden State, I'm just like, what's the difference between this year and, when they got swept? And I don't mean to say, obviously, like, they have different players now. Rondo's there, Drew's fully healthy and playing well. They have Mirotic, Etuan Moore's played well. But what's the difference? Like, Golden State, Cleveland for the past 3 finals, Cleveland wins in 2016. Kevin Durant joins the Warriors, and Kevin Durant is the difference. Like, he's the difference maker. I don't see a difference maker in New Orleans. So, being that they got to the second round, I'm like, this series is going to be over quickly. Like, Anthony Davis is going to have a good series. Golden State obviously has no answers for him. But in terms of the overall team, like, when Golden State's clicking, there's nothing you can do. Like, they're not the Rockets where Rockets will get punched and then they'll punch back. If New Orleans gets punched, I don't know that they can score in bunches like that. They don't have that difference maker to me that everybody else was saying they could, maybe push this to 7 or potentially win the series without Steph.
Yeah, man, they don't. And then, I get it, man. Everybody was talking about their defense and everything, and I even heard some analysts who I respect a lot, man, saying how Anthony Davis is going to be the best player in the series, and I'm just like, yo, did you forget that Kevin Durant is on the other team? It's like they become prisoners to the fact that Kevin Durant is on the Warriors, so he can't do what he used to do. I'm like, yeah, Kevin Durant is still there. He's the best player in this series, and you got to and like you have to have an answer for that. And you can't. Who's defending Kevin Durant on the Pelicans?
Man, I have no idea. Like, NBA champion, Finals MVP, former regular season MVP, 3-time back-to-back-to-back scoring champion of the league. Like, did they forget that before this season, we were saying Anthony Davis has never won a playoff game, far less a series? Like, come on. Like, yes, Anthony Davis is great. He's going to put up great numbers, but overall, this team isn't built for Golden State.
No, it's the hype train, man. It's definitely that hype train. To be honest, this might end in 4 or 5, maybe even. I'm not even gonna say 6. I'm saying 4 or 5, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll probably give New Orleans 1, on their home court just off of the crowd, similar to kind of San Antonio. And in this sense, Anthony Davis will probably have like a 45-15 bonkers game where they can't stop him, and Mirotic is hitting and Drew's hitting, so that'll be cool. I do think, though, that moving forward, I'm not sure they get smoked the same way they did in Game 1. I think they got punched in the mouth and they weren't able to respond. But I do think they make adjustments and it becomes more competitive. But I still don't see this thing, going the distance.
I don't either, man. It's gonna be quick, man. 4 or 5. That's what I got for you.
All right, man. So I wanna transition into the losers of the first round and, the implications of what might happen this off season. And I know we can start with our good old guy Melo, because, OKC, I know the series went 6, but they pretty much got smoked. Like, it wasn't that close. So talk to me about, overall, just the losers of the different teams of the first round. So, you got your Wizards in there, Blazers obviously, and OKC. And talk to me about your beef with Melo.
Oh, man. I mean, my beef, that series, it was what I thought it was going to be, because like I said, OKC is they're just so inconsistent. It's just frustrating to watch. And the thing is, I'm curious to see what Paul George is going to do, obviously. But then we get to Melo. My beef with Melo is everything that I saw in the headlines the past 2 days. Him saying, he doesn't want to come off the bench, and basically saying that, this office didn't put him in the best position possible. And it's like, for one, you had a bad year. I don't think anybody's going to debate that. You had a bad year. 2, you're better suited coming off the bench, because, you can do more of what you like to do, your isolation ball. You get your shots when you come off the bench, because you're going to be the main scorer with the second unit. And 3, if OKC decides to buy you out, I'm not sure who's out